This is Comic Geek Speak episode 1767, the CGS Best of 2019 Awards Results Show, and a conversation with Steve Bryant.
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek, uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Shane Kelly.
And I'm Chris Everett.
Hey.
Comic Geek Speak.
That's better.
Need to speak sternly sometimes.
Sometimes that sticky finger gets away from you. Ahoy, hoy, hello, one and all.
Brethren.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
And you know what? Everything's late this year, so how about we just be a little bit late on giving you those awards winners?
Yeah.
Funny thing is, it's just about a month late to the day.
Yeah.
Because the final deadline for getting those final ballots in for the Best of Awards this year was March 14th, and right after that was when these viral quarantines came storming into our lives and everything went haywire. But here we are, a month later, we're all still here, a little less sane, a little less clean, but no less willing to talk comics.
Yep. And also right around that time, the sale of nice tops went up and the sale of pants went down. And that's there's many an article out there right now about, all these people are doing Zoom calls, but you never have to see below the waistline.
Right. Unless you're that poor woman who went to the bathroom and didn't realize her camera was still on.
Oh, God.
I saw that with a guy too, and in a Zoom meeting did that. Yeah,
SNL made fun of that. They had a all remote episode of SNL this week, and they did their Zoom call parody. And at one point, Amy Bryant played the "I'm going into the bathroom with my laptop lady." So, and on a very different note, back to the awards.
Take it away, Murd.
Yep.
All right. Well, we just want to take a moment here to thank everybody who roughly a month or so ago participated in the voting process for these the annual Comic Geek Speak Best of Awards. We're again sorry that you've had to wait as long as you have to hear all about this, but I'm sure you've all had other things on your mind in the meantime anyway. But here we are. We're ready to start running down the winners chosen by you, the CGS listeners, over 16 categories of excellence in comics production. Okay, and the first category, I'm going to turn to you here, Ian, to tell us the nominees and the winner in the category of Best New Hero or Teen.
Why, thank you, sir. All right, here we are with Best New Hero. And the nominees are Gotham City Monsters, Naomi, and Teen Lantern. And your winner, hold on, let me, I grabbed two postcards to make it sound like I'm opening an envelope. Let me. Okay, and the winner is Gotham City Monsters. Your award is in the mail.
Yep, it was an all DC field here this year in that category, but I think Naomi and Teen Lantern kind of split almost exactly evenly the Wonder Comics vote.
Wow.
Gotham City Monsters profited.
Well done.
Cool.
Let me also say here that the distribution of voting was pretty good, and I think only one thing nominated in any of the 16 categories came away with no votes from the CGS electorate.
Well then.
So, some love for everybody. Almost.
Yes, indeed.
All right, next on the hit parade. Shane, I believe we're turning to you.
Yep. Best New Villain or Villain Team debuted in 2019. The nominees were Apex Lex, The Grim Knight, Horticulture, King Kid, The Overseer, Star, and Thomas Wayne from the Flashpoint Reality. And the winner is Thomas Wayne, which that's cool.
Yeah, that actually works pretty well.
Yeah.
A little love for the culmination of Tom King's Batman run there.
And what a classic
Certainly.
run it was.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris, you're next in line.
All right. Best new ongoing comic, first issue shipped in 2019. The nominees are 5 Years, Legion of Superheroes, Vampirella, and Ian's beloved Young Justice. And the winner is Ian, Young Justice.
Woohoo!
Yep, and it was a strong winner, too. Came away with twice as many votes as the runner-up.
Nice.
It's such a fun series.
It really is. And now this is 2 episodes in a row that I get to say that Young Justice is my number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Every one of us, Shane, Ian, Chris, and the listeners who participated in the nominations process, each party picked at least one winner in these
Nice.
awards. So everybody can come away feeling satisfied that their voice was heard.
Very cool.
All right, let me take a turn here so I can reveal the winner in the category of Best Limited Series, the final issue of which was to have shipped in the year 2019. The nominees there were Doomsday Clock, at long last, House of X and Powers of 10, which have been kind of squished together into a single nominee, Spider-Man Life Story, and The Wrong Earth from Ahoy Comics. And the winner in that category is Hawks and Pox.
Ha! I'm forever calling it Hawks and Pox from this point forward.
By the way, Ian, I want you to know you so sold me that I just earlier today ordered from InStock the hardcover of those 2 stories.
Excellent. Excellent.
And later on in the comic talk, I'll talk a little bit more about what also prompted me to do that. So,
Very good. Very
Yep,
good.
as soon as that hardcover is a softcover, I'll be doing the same thing. For me, that's the major takeaway from this year's Best of Awards. That Hickman and company really came through with this Dawn of X thing, and
Yep.
I'd like to see what all the fuss is about.
Definitely.
Yep,
All right.
and-
Over to me.
Over to you.
Best single issues / one shot. 20XX number 1. House of X number 2. Justice League number 22. A lot of twos. And Marvel's Epilogue. And the winner is Hawks number 2. House of X number 2 is your winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, the X vote was really mobilized this year. But I will say it was a close race in both the Best Limited Series and the Best Single Issue or One-Shot categories. The Hawks and Pox and Hawks number 2 each respectively edged out its runner-up by only 1 vote.
Now, was that Life Story that almost won the previous award?
That is correct. And in Best Single Issue, the runner-up was Marvel's Epilogue.
All right.
So there you have it, folks. Every ballot counts.
Yes, indeed.
All right, over to you, Shane.
Oh, Best Cliffhanger and Moment. The nominees are Batman Meets an Old Flame in Batman Annual number 4, The Death of Alfred in Batman 77, Moira's a Mutant in House of X number 2, and this is the big one from Freedom Fighters number 10. And the winner is Moira's a Mutant from House of X number 2.
Nice.
Wow.
And that one was
X-Vote
not
really
a
is.
sweep.
Yeah. House of X cleaning house.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the voters loved that revelation. It received twice as many votes as its nearest competition.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the way they executed that in the comic, well deserved.
All right, Chris, over to you.
All right. Best storyline within a series or across multiple series. The nominees are Cruel Summer from Criminal, Dawn of X, Flash Year 1, and the Justice Doom War. Once again, the winner is Dawn of X, another X book.
Ooh. Did somebody say sweep?
You did just now.
Oh, okay. I thought so. I thought that was me.
Yes, Marvel's got to get me that soft cover soon because I am burning with curiosity. All right, now we have the widest field of any of the categories this year. Best Sleeper or Surprise Hit, where the nominees are Afterlift, Daredevil, History of the Marvel Universe, Invaders, Naomi, Once and Future, Red Sonja, Something is Killing the Children, and Spider-Man Life Story. So, quite a few options here, but the winner is clear with more than twice the number of votes received by the runner-up. It's Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky.
Excellent. Well deserved.
Ah.
I have that trade on my pile next to my chair to read.
Oh, Shane, I envy that journey. It's fantastic.
All right. We move over to Best Ongoing Comic, which need not have begun publication in 2018. And the nominees are Batman, Daredevil, Immortal Hulk, and Monstrous. And the winner is Immortal Hulk.
For a second consecutive year, if I'm not mistaken.
Tremendous series.
Yep.
Ugh.
And it smashed the competition, too. It got 3.5 times the number of votes of its next nearest competition. In that
Yowie,
category.
yow. Woof.
All right. The wheel turns to you, Shane.
Ooh, back to me already. Best graphic novel, OGN or collection. First nominee is Criminal, Bad Weekend. Next is Giraffes on Horseback Salad. Third is Midwest, Volume 1. And finally, They Call Us Enemy. And the winner is Criminal, Bad Weekend.
Nice.
Bum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum.
I get it.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
You've been hit by, you've been struck by a Shane criminal.
Excellent.
Honorable mention for you trekkers out there goes to They Called Us Enemy. It was a pretty close race between George Takei's memoir and Criminal Bad Weekend.
Ooh,
Oh,
my.
wow.
Right. Chris, you may reveal to us the winner of the Best Writer Award.
All right, Best Writer. The nominees are Al Ewing of the aforementioned Immortal Hulk, Kieran Gillen, Jonathan Hickman, and Chip Zdarsky. The winner is Chip Zdarsky.
Well done.
Huzzah.
That's a well-deserved win right there.
Yep.
Last year's winner of the Breakthrough Talent of 2018, and now he's gone all the way to the big time. Best Writer. And following Best Writer, we must have the award for Best Artist. The nominees there are Dale Eaglesham, Trad Moore, Javier Rodriguez, Liam Sharp, and Sana Takeda. And the winner of the award is... Not my envelope sound effect. Javier Rodriguez.
Hey. Excellent.
I agree. Excellent. Yep, that's... Yeah, it's just Ian and I are of one voice there. It's,
Yep.
I would have nominated him myself, but Ian beat me to the punch. That's the only reason Eaglesham found his way onto the ballot. And it was another close race there between Rodriguez and Liam Sharp of Grant Morrison's The Green Lantern.
What a job he did this year. That's all
Oh,
I'll say. Yep.
yeah.
Mhm. All right. Best Writer/Artist. The nominees are Michelle Pfeiffer. I just like saying Fief. Terry Moore, Mike Norton, and Ed Piskor. And the winner is Jamie D is happy, Terry Moore.
Ah,
Nice.
When Jamie D is happy, we are all happy.
Amen.
That is true. That I still love his not smug, but I'm going to say smug smile when we all read SIP, loved SIP, and he just sat there satisfied in what he recommended, and we all finally did it.
Yep, I remember that look on Jamie's face. And it's 1 part smugness and 3-part glee.
oh, it's
Yeah,
majestic.
yeah.
The knowledge
Yep.
that he was able to share something he loved with his friends and inspire a similar love in them.
Yeah.
And let the clarion call go forth. Majolnir!
Good times.
That was for you, big guy.
Yep.
The defiance of D'Alessandro.
I'm actually at my desk. I have a picture of the early cast. I mean, this is before Murd and Pants and everybody, and there's Jamie sitting there all nice and smiley on the chair.
Nice.
All right, that brings it back to me, I think.
It does
Best
indeed.
color artist. The nominees are Jacob Phillips, Dave Stewart, Sana Takeda, and Matt Wilson. And the winner is Dave Stewart.
Yep.
Yay!
Colorist of DC The New Frontier, which we read and reviewed as a book of the month not long ago. And if you haven't yet done so, I encourage everyone to check out Mr. Stewart's work and also Trad Moore's work in the Silver Surfer Black miniseries.
Okay.
A feast for the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, the penultimate nominee.
All right.
Please.
Penultimate indeed. Best letterer. All right. Our nominees are Clayton Cowles, the great Tom Warzachowski, Corey Pettit, and Russ Wooten. The victor is Clayton Cowles.
And by a pretty wide margin, too. So that's another member of Tom King's Batman creative team being honored here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the culmination of this award sequence, the breakthrough talent, the promising new star who appeared most strongly, not necessarily who is a newcomer to the industry, but who made fandom, or at least CGS fandom, aware of his or her talent within the year 2019. The nominees there are Daniel Warren Johnson, Marjorie Liu, Jed McKay, John Timms, and Chip Zdarsky. And the winner there is not Chip Zdarsky. Nothing against Chip Zdarsky, but I kind of get leery of people winning this award 2 years in a row. But it is, in fact, Marjorie Liu of Monstrous.
Excellent.
All right. Fantastic.
I was half expecting it to somehow be Tom King.
A real dark horse there. But no, Zdarsky and Johnson were actually tied for second place.
Nice.
Wow.
Well
And
done.
there you have it, folks. The awards have been revealed. The envelopes are open. Stay tuned for your local news.
Murd, brother, again, I want to thank you because this is your baby. You're always the driving force behind this, and it delivers every year.
Yes, well, you're most welcome, Chris. Thank you all for playing along here, and it's great fun for me. I always enjoy hearing what our listenership is really into, and being able to share what we've been really into in the course of the past year with the listeners in turn, and just being able to shed some fairly immaterial praise upon the creators of said material.
Definitely. Yep. And this took way less time than the Academy Awards.
True.
And no one had to be
off the
played off.
stage by music, yeah.
Exactly.
Although they're usually like half an hour behind schedule. We're a month behind schedule, so it's all a matter of scale. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a quick deviation. As earlier tonight, we got to have a conversation with the fan and friend of the show, as I know he is both, Mr. Steve Bryant. So let's go ahead and head over to that. Okay, and at this point in the episode, we are joined by none other than longtime friend of multiple shows, both Comic Timing and Comic Geek Speak, Mr. Steve Bryant. Steve,
Hey, guys.
Welcome, Steve. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, I haven't talked to you guys in forever. I see, occasionally I'll see Murd and Pants at conventions. Well, and I saw Ian, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. I made my way out to Chicago, but it's been since then pretty much.
But yeah, well, I mean, conventions. Remember those things?
Yeah, right.
Just
Yeah.
So I miss you guys.
Yeah, we miss
Same here.
We miss you too, buddy. I mean, one of the good things about you and so many others is that many super shows passed and Comic Geek Speak gatherings that you were there, and whether you were set up at a table or just having conversation, it was always good to pass the time that way.
Oh, and you as well.
All right, so this time around, you have a new Kickstarter running, and it's called The Catch. And rather than us try to explain it, we'll leave that honor to you, sir. So tell us a bit more about the comic.
Yeah, it follows a skip tracer who tracks down costume criminals who jump bail, and her name's Lucy Chase. And the level of bad guys that she chases down, I always try to frame this in like Spider-Man terms. She chases down the hypno hustlers of this universe. All of your, Green Goblins and stuff like that. Those guys are all put away in maximum security facilities, but she's going after the hypno hustler type, the Prowler. Well, the Prowler might be too high rent for her, but it's Lucy as a skip tracer, and then we've got her on again, off again love interest, who Jack Devlin, who's a U.S. Marshal, and he works for her mom, who's his boss. So it's kind of a little bit of a romantic comedy angle there. It's not really played for laughs, but I like to banter with the characters and stuff. But it's kind of Elmore Leonard meets Gotham Central is what I've been telling people.
Well, you just said the magic words with Gotham Central.
I don't know if you had a chance to look over the issue 1 stuff I sent out, but it's not a coincidence that in the cold open of issue 1 they're chasing down a cold powered bad guy, because that was a direct tip of the hat to that first arc in Gotham Central.
Nice.
So
Nice.
huge fan of that. I've never really done a superhero book, and this doesn't follow superheroes, but it's definitely in a superhero universe. So you'll see analogs to some major names throughout, and it's a big old love letter to all the comics I grew up on.
Well, Steve, I just read it this afternoon, and I want to tell the audience your description is right on the money. It was an absolute delight to read. And especially if you enjoy superhero comics, because like you said, there's a lot of great analogs in there. Everything from analogs for Hydra to like a Doctor Doom Batman hybrid. This is an immensely fun book. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you so much.
Yeah, the image in the first issue alone of that locomotive type.
I was sold right on that image. Yep.
Oh, the steampunk.
Yes. Oh God, it's so cool.
And that's one of the cool things. Like when I'm doing Athena Voltaire, I'm writing and drawing, and I have to figure out how to solve that stuff. It was so much fun on this, just functioning, as a writer, to come up with stuff and go, that's Ishmael's problem. Ishmael Canales is the artist on the book, and he just knocked it out of the park. His staging is light years beyond anything I could have done for this kind of story. And yeah, I agree with you. The steampunk carriage made out of ice was so visually inspired. He did so much better than what I even had in my head. So it was great.
Well, the minute I saw that image, I'm glad Ian brought it up. It really brought me into the book. Like from that point on, I was thoroughly enjoying myself.
Oh, yeah.
It like you said, you're using a lot of analogs, and in the hands of a lesser writer, this would be kind of like a flat humdrum type of thing. But it's really got a unique voice, and it's really enjoyable.
I don't know how to respond to that. So first of all, thank you. And
My pleasure.
well, I mean, I still primarily think of myself as an artist who writes. So I am without words. So you're very kind.
Well, to piggyback off of what Chris is saying, Steve, it's a good sign when I read a comic and I can literally voice act the comic in my head. And there are characters here where, like, I totally cast Ice Locomotive guy as Christopher Lloyd in my head. Like,
Good.
and there's the visual style reminds me a little bit of the book Grayson. That Tom King worked on a couple years ago, and just even like some of the expressions on the characters, I don't know, just draw me in and envelop me in the world, which I really appreciate. It's like some of the least flat art that I've seen in quite some time. There's a liveliness to it that I'm really appreciating.
Yeah, he is absolutely fantastic. And when we're talking about Steampunk Ice Guy, I do have to go into this a little bit because this book really is a love letter to Silver and Bronze Age comics. Even though it's kind of told through a modern lens. The villain we're referring to is named Phileas Frost, and he's a 19th century time traveler who got stuck in the 21st century. And his equipment breaks down, so of course all it can do is manufacture things out of ice because his last name is Frost. And again, that's the kind of trope that we would see in 60s, 70s, 80s books.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And we all just rolled with it. We went with it because there was something charming to that. And so I didn't want to overthink it. I just, the characters acknowledge it. There's no examination about why is a guy named Frost actually creating crap out of ice when he's a time traveler. You don't care. But I don't mean that like in the dismissive way that some of Joe Quesada's "It's Magic" comments were taken,
Right.
10 years ago with One More Day. But yeah, I kind of wanted to just be able to roll with some of these Silver and Bronze Age conventions that I think all kind of warm all of our hearts, right?
Oh yeah.
So talking about that guy as a bad guy, it meant a lot to me to kind of play with that kind of toy. I'll shut up now. I'll hang up and listen to your answer.
Why, thank you, caller. And today's episode is brought. Okay, no. And I'm looking at some of the character designs that were included on the Kickstarter page as well, and my mind immediately goes straight to what appears to be that luchador.
The Grappler.
Yes, the Grappler. I need
He's in issue 2.
Oh God, I am so in on that. I haven't exactly been much into modern day wrestling, but I've really been on like an old school wrestling kick, and that just immediately drew my attention and drew me in because he looks straight out of like 1988 WWF.
Well, and then his partner with the Red Sonja chainmail bikini is Barbarian. So, just again, I think I've gotten like a minuscule sliver of the joy Robert Kirkman must have gone through when he came up with all the sideline characters in Invincible, where you can make a pun and that becomes a bad guy, and it's just, God, it's so much fun. So it's a lot of fun on this end. So I'm glad you're enjoying what you're seeing.
You're also continuing to say my magic words, not only with puns but also with Invincible. So yeah, you're just batting 1,000 right now, Steve.
I still have not finished the series. I was reading it in the hardcovers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've been working even before the quarantine started. This year I've been making a point to finish various series that have like completed. That maybe I read the first 5 trades or 30 issues or whatever. So Invincible is kind of on that list, but I really want to reread it from the beginning. And that's going to be a massive undertaking.
Give it like right around the time that the animated series comes out, and that might be a damn good time to start.
Oh, good call. Now, when is that scheduled by? I know it's got like an amazing voice cast.
Yeah, I think it's sometime this year, but with everything being as nebulous as it is, I can't even pretend to say when that's going to happen. Yeah, but who the hell knows? So this is the Kickstarter for the second issue. How long ago did the first issue come out?
A year ago. We did it just about this time last year. And then we're hoping to do issue 3 later this year.
Got it.
Because we've kind of solved some stuff as we went and everything. But just in terms of production and clearing out other things on the schedule. But it was so strange because like 4 months ago, I think, is when we specifically said March 23rd. That's our launch date. Not really realizing the world would be on fire. So yeah, it's been kind of nuts. And there's this really strange feeling when you launch a crowdfunding campaign in the middle of a freaking pandemic, because I don't want anyone. I mean, seriously, complaining about your Kickstarter, backers dropping during this time. I don't know if it gets any more first world than that. First world problems.
Yeah.
By the same token, you do sometimes get a low ebb when you've been working on this for months, and it's out there, and when you have some of the dead days that every campaign does, it's just a really strange feeling, and I have to remind myself of proper perspective sometimes, because the world is crazy, and we are really fortunate to have a number of people that are really excited about this book, and we're really excited to make it. But yeah, just what a strange time.
You ain't kidding. But the one thing that people do need in a time like this is a good distraction. And that is definitely something that comic books can bring people. And I think that this is definitely the type of comic that can be that distraction, at least for a few minutes, to go through something that's compelling with some damn good artwork and an interesting concept. That's absolutely what you want in a time like this.
Well, first, thank you. And yeah, secondly, I mean, I've been, I mentioned that I've been trying to read through stuff this year, and it's certainly accelerated during this time. I mean, comics are my go-to entertainment. So you bring up a good point. I don't want to come off as disrespectful to anyone who's genuinely struggling through this. I appreciate you guys understanding that it is entertainment, and some of us prioritize that entertainment to get us through the dark times.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my Jerry Springer moment. I'm going to shut up.
Far more eloquent than Jerry Springer, my friend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it looks gorgeous. It sounds interesting. I love the visuals I'm seeing, and I can't wait to sink my teeth in it a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, I am in love with the basic concept here.
I totally thought it would be up your alley.
Oh, well, yeah. It's a bounty hunter who hunts down, C-list or lower supervillains, hypno hustler level villains, for a bail bondsperson in a fictitious superhero city. It's my alley. And the artwork, I add my voice to Shane's and Ian's about the praise for that. It's clean, it's classic. It reminds me of early Jamal Igle. It's just Mr. Canales is to be commended. And I'm sorry that I missed the campaign for number 1 a year ago, but I noticed that on the Kickstarter page for the current campaign, if you pledge $25, you can get a print copy of both number 1 and number 2 to catch up.
Yes, and all of the print rewards come with issue 1 and 2 digitally, as well as issue 1 and 2 digitally in Spanish, because Ishmael is from Spain. He asked if we could do that, and he had a friend that handled translation for us, and it was really cool. So I realize with Kickstarter campaigns sometimes the price tag is a little heftier for these things, but you can get issue 1 and 2. Yes.
And there's just the for $10 you can get the just straight up digital copies of issues 1 and 2, which again, if you're looking to save a little bit of cheddar and just want to go digital only, then that's a damn good way to do it.
Yeah, that works too. Oh, actually, can I mention something goofy I've been doing the last 2 days, and I'm going to do until the end of the campaign. Our campaign days end, I think, around 11:36 Central. And that's when it shifts over to, 5 days remaining, 4 days remaining. So every day I've been trying to film myself at 11:30 choosing a backer at random. You can get like a random number generator online. So I'll key in how many backers we have. It selects a backer at random, and that person gets a 6x9 original art character sketch of a character of their choice from me.
Oh, very cool.
Now that goes out with all the physical backers. So if you're a digital backer, you're not eligible for that. However, every single backer of the campaign will get a digital sketchbook of all these drawings that I'm doing thrown in as a digital bonus.
Nice.
So I post the footage of me selecting it, and I look like a dope. I post the footage of me selecting it every day. It probably goes up around noon, and I think we have 8 more days of this remaining. So that's another benefit. The sooner you back it, the sooner you're in for each of the subsequent drawings.
Well, as someone who has gotten a sketch from you before, Steve, that is definitely a positive.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Jack Knight
is.
Starman, right?
Yep, you got it.
I remember doing that one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you.
So how did you find Ismail in the first place? How did the two of you get together?
Okay, I have to have a slight detour.
Sure.
To explain it fully.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to school in 2016 to complete my undergrad, and I've since gone on and I'm finishing up grad school. I'll be done next month. But at the time that I went back to school, we had shifted over to Action Lab, and the Action Lab guys asked if I would be interested in licensing Athena to them instead of writing and drawing it all myself. And the licensing deal basically means they'll pay for the artist. Mm-hmm. So I could write the book, and we would get an artist to draw it. Mm-hmm. So we did the ongoing series. There were some issues at a publishing level that I'm not completely privy to.
Yeah.
But we got 8 issues, 2 arcs out with that, and then the next arc will be out later on this year. The first story arc, Athena Voltaire and the Sorcerer Pope, was drawn by Ishmael. He was one of the artists that Action Lab submitted to me, and I said, I want that guy. And over the course of him drawing that arc, we became friends, and I just really, in the last few years, have really wanted to try my hand at self-publishing. Mm-hmm. And I thought he would be the perfect guy for this. I've actually had the original notes from the catch date back to, I want to say 2006, 2007.
Oh, wow.
And I remember this because I got the idea for it during Marvel's Civil War, particularly listening to CGS recapping Marvel's Civil War. So it seems kind of appropriate to be on, talking about it now too. But yeah, I mean, I'd had this script, well, not really in the desk, but on my hard drive for years. I had tried it once with a different artist, but that didn't work out. And yeah, I ran it by Ishmael. We talked about how much he would need to make while producing the book, but we're co-owners. He needs a little bit of an outlay to do the book. So we budgeted what it would cost for him and colors and all that good stuff, printing, and off we went.
And if anybody wants to experience the time warp, by the way, Civil War Episode 1 CGS Special was released on May 18th, 2006.
Wow.
Good old Ian.
Oh, my God. Time flies.
Wow. That doesn't seem possible.
My day.
Yeah, right? I still remember when all the podcasts put out a special on the delay of Civil War and how big of a deal that was. And since then, I feel like every single big event has been delayed at some point or another. So, how times have changed.
Wow.
It seems quaint now.
Yeah, right?
Oh, it's cute. That one delayed again.
Yes, especially now we're living in a world where everything is delayed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Although I said that if yeah, again, not to diminish anything that's going on, but if I really have to stay in the house for months and months and months on end, I have enough entertainment for years without running out.
Oh yeah.
Me too, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
And hey, at least we know that if everybody's stuck inside long enough, we'll at least get like 5 or 6 time bubble episodes out of it. So,
Oh, there's one swelling up right now, as a matter of fact.
excellent, delightful. All right, so probably by the time this episode is out, we'll have about 4.5 to 5 days left to go in the campaign. So if there's anything else you want people to know about the campaign, Steve, be our guest, and especially some of the cool rewards that you got here for multiple levels. I mean, everything goes up to what, like $300, $400 at the most, right?
Yeah, I mean the lowest price is $5 for the digital issue 2. But yeah, we've got print editions. We've got 2 different variants. One variant drawn by me and colored by my longtime collaborator Jason Millay.
Nice.
The other one, Ishmael drew and Jason painted digitally. So we call it the movie poster cover. And then the standard cover is Ishmael and Mireya Gerbau, who is our colorist. She's fantastic. So yeah, we've got the print with the variants. We've got a couple of different goofy incentives. I tried to think of things that, like, well, my background before doing comics, I worked in the role-playing game industry. So I always thought about the cool stuff that would go in a boxed game. So with some of the things for the Kickstarter, we've got like villain dossiers, 3 villains for issue 1, 3 villains for issue 2. We've got like a catch-up pack, pun intended, with you can get all the villain dossiers from both issues. Yeah. There's a wanted flyer where you can have your picture with your real name, your supervillain name, your powers. So you get that. We have some original art rewards, 5 different Draw Me In cameo appearances have been bought. We've got 5 more. Raging Bullets co-host and friend of the show, Sean Whalen.
Yay.
Made an appearance in issue 1, and he's back for issue 2.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's a cool reward. And then I've got some commissions in there as well. And we've got probably my favorite, like, high-end reward is the box set. And that has like the various variant covers. You can either do the box set just for issue 2, or you can do a catch up with all 6 covers from issue 1. So it would be like 9 different variants, plus all the villain dossiers, plus the wanted poster of you. And we also have business cards for chase investigations, Jack Devlin's U.S. Marshals business card, and Tillman bail bonds, which is the bail bondsman that Lucy works with, and a set of, I kid you not, novelty handcuffs with the Catch logo on the package, because I wanted that so bad. So yeah, I had to include that. So that's probably my favorite backer level reward, just because it's goofy and like I got to design the box, so like every flap of the box has a slice of the artwork.
Nice.
And yeah, it does look cool on the shelf. So that was a lot of fun to do. But yeah, I don't know. I've never kickstarted like individual issues in a series.
Yeah.
But I got the idea from Charlie Stickney, who does an excellent series called White Ash, which is kickstarting now, but the regular book is printing through Scout Comics. And they've done a great job with building their audience, so I wanted to experiment with doing that. And so far, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, here's hoping that all works out in your favor, man. Because I look forward to issue 2, and I definitely look forward to issue 3 after that. Quick shout out, by the way, to Raging Bullets, as they just had their 14-year anniversary episode back on May 30th.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Sean and Jim are still rolling out episodes on a regular basis, and have not talked to either one of them in way too long. I'm gonna have to correct that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But RagingBullets.com for anybody who wants to find out more about Sean and Jim's DC Comics podcast. It's been going for many a year now. Yep.
See, that's something I've always loved about the CGS community is sharing the love of various other podcasts. And it's always been cool. So it's nice to hear you say that.
Oh, and Sean and Jim are awesome. I love talking to them when I get to. But like you, Ian, it's been years since I've gotten together with either of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to work on that behind the scenes. All right. Go ahead and give your social media information and all that jazz out to everybody, and if there's a website that they can follow other than the Kickstarter, go ahead and do so, Steve.
I am on both Twitter and Instagram as Steve Bryant Art, SteveBryantArt. And then all my comic stuff is at stevebryantcomics.com. And can I shill something else real quick?
Oh, please.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I went back, we've talked about my 1930s pulp thing a couple of times, Athena Voltaire. And that originally launched as a webcomic. Back at the beginning of the year, I launched a new webcomic. I'm actually doing it as part of my independent study in grad school, kind of looking at the analytics and social media promotion of, how to build a weekly web strip. But it's called Maximus Rex, and it's, the tagline is, "The world ended in 1989. Welcome to the after party." So it's a love letter to 1980s apocalyptic, not just movies or comics or books. The aesthetic of every single cheesy music video is all over this. Not just the cool music videos like Tom Petty's "You Got Lucky," but like the cheesy and the good stuff like the Police Synchronicity too. That's another good video. But everything from Duran Duran, Seven and the Wild Tiger, I think is the name of it. Every video from that has this great cheesy sensibility. Every Billy Idol video has that Crocus, Screaming in the Night. All these cheesy videos with brilliant over-the-top art direction are a part of this. And, like movies like Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, and just some of the schlock stuff. So that kind of makes up the aesthetic. It's Maximus, Maximus, Rex, WRECKS.com. And it updates every Tuesday. So I think we're 15 installments in.
Nice.
So, and it's
awesome.
It's goofy. It's not played for laughs, but again, I doing something like Athena Voltaire, where I'm really seriously trying to get that 1930s vibe. Doing something like this is a nice break from that because it's such an over the top aesthetic, but played with a straight face. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, you got me with love song to 80s, man. I'd go back and do all the 80s over again in a heartbeat. I love it.
There are glorious mullets and mohawks throughout.
Oh my God.
Teal blue leopard skin lycra,
Sure.
and a whole lot of leather. So it's fun to draw. It's fun to write. And I think the hook is kind of the cheesy aspects of those movies, but again, at the heart of any story that you're reading, even when you put in tongue-in-cheek elements, the bottom line is compelling characters in extraordinary situations. And I really hope that it's hard to sell that with one page per week, but hopefully as we build a body of work, some of the characters will resonate as well.
Well, as
out.
Shane and I were discussing off the air before you got on, Steve, that both of us are doing a rewatch of Cheers right now. So, so we're very much in an 80s state of mind, and this just seems right up that alley.
Now, what's it streaming on?
Everything, it feels like. It's at CBS has it, so if you have all access, but also all the seasons at the moment are on NBC, are on Netflix.
Yep, and I think they're on Amazon as well. I'd have to check that again, but I know I'm pretty sure I watched them on there at one point.
Yeah. They may have taken them off at some point, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
They used to be on there once upon a time.
But yeah, they're definitely on Netflix and CBS.
Yep.
Okay, we have a couple weeks left on our CBS All Access trial. We powered through Picard and Discovery.
Oh.
That's so good.
I've enjoyed both very, very much.
Same here. We had a blast with that. Okay, do you mind a quick plug for something I find
Please.
to be wonderful?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Dispatches from Elsewhere on AMC it's the second show they've done that has this kind of quality of looking past everything in our real world and looking towards something better in our current state of mind. They did this with Lodge 49, which ran a couple seasons on there. And then Dispatches has that same quality. And it's a friend of mine, after I recommended it to him, watched it and said, it's weird in all the right ways. And I think that's the best way, because I think the less you know going into it, the better. But yeah, watch it because it's weird in all the right ways. So yeah, Dispatches from Elsewhere is what it's called. It's got, it was created by Jason Segel, and it's got Andre 3000 is in it.
Yep.
And Sally Field.
Wow.
Huh.
So yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's really wonderful.
I've been meaning to check that out, so you just doubled down on the fact that I have to check that out, because,
Yeah.
Yep. Completely forgot that it started, so now I have to definitely go ahead and catch up.
And at the heart of it, it's also got a charming and surprising and really wonderful love story in the middle of it too. So, yeah, it's just been a delight. So I can't stress that enough.
All right. Well, if there's any way to go out the door, recommending a TV show for me in this time when I need TV shows is 100% what you should be doing, man.
My work here is.
Yay!
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I know I rambled a lot. I haven't done this in forever.
Steve, you do
Not
this
at all.
every single time we have an interview, man, and I tell you, every single time it was a goddamn delight.
Yeah.
Right back at all of you. This has been great, and I hope that eventually, when conventions happen again, I'll be able to see you guys again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I very much look forward to it, and I look forward to sitting down behind the table with you and talking to you for 20 minutes.
Hopefully more. Hopefully in a different context than just all business. But I know
Hell yeah.
I get kind of squirrely at shows, but I'm trying to socialize more, and I think this wake up call we're all having is a good reminder to spend more time with people we enjoy.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, we definitely enjoy you, sir, and thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. It's mutual.
All righty.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Steve.
We'll
Take care,
We'll
Steve.
talk to you soon.
Bye.
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 Ah, that was a hoot.
Yeah,
Sure
that
was.
Steve's the greatest, and we love catching up with old friends.
Yeah, it was great to catch up with him. I know we said it during our talk, but it's been a long time since any of us really got to speak with him, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep, definitely.
Yep. If
Yep.
there's any bright side to being forcibly sequestered like this for weeks on end, it's that we have more time for catching up with old friends like this.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it is very much in the cards over the next few weeks, and I am just hinting at things that way, and you're just going to have to find out, because we're not telling.
Levenstein, you foreshadowing
Oh,
bastard.
Ian, I love when you get like that little tantalizing, like Borscht Belt sexiness. Oh, fantastic.
Thank you. Tip your waitress. And as I look at the campaign at this particular moment, it is currently at $6,089 out of the $7,500 that Steve is looking for. So if you guys can help make that happen, there should be about 4 or so days left on the campaign as we release this episode. So please Do your part if you can. If you can't, we 100% understand under these circumstances, but let's try to give him some love.
And speaking of funding, we should mention how grateful we are because people have been donating money to the show the past couple of months.
Yes.
Several people have. And because we've been kind of doing our own little sort of, casual mini pledge drive. And it's really appreciated. So thanks so much to all who have been contributing to the show in amounts, large and small.
Yep, 100%. All right, let's talk some comics, shall we?
All right, Ian, I got to take center stage if I can for just a moment because once again, sir, Levinstein lives like a great science fiction monster creation because you have reignited my excitement over the X-Men.
Yes.
Because let me tell you what happened here. So I got the first 3 issues of X-Men versus Fantastic Four written by Chip Zdarsky.
Yep.
And this is my first sort of exposure to the, let's call it the Hickman era X-Men. And I was absolutely riveted by the dynamic in the story. I actually found the X-Men to a degree creepy. And I wasn't fully comfortable with their whole sort of posture in the story. And a couple things. One, I can't wait to go back now and read Hickman's first stories. As I mentioned, I just ordered the Power of X, House of X hardcover from In Stock Trades, so I can get on the ground floor there because I'm really excited to see, I knew about Krakoa and all that, but what is the ideology now driving Charles Xavier, who I thought was dead, by the way, but not that matters.
He got better.
As did I.
So the role of Magneto, Kitty, it's fascinating. Second, again, why Zdarsky is one of the best writers working comics right now. This miniseries is also sort of a sequel and a love letter to one of my favorite miniseries of all time, which is the classic Chris Claremont and John Bogdan of X-Men versus Fantastic Four from the mid-1980s.
Oh, wow.
And there are references to it in this story. They have Dr. Doom in it again. Like it is in many ways a direct sequel to that classic story. So this, again, it's a big props to Zdarsky for as always tipping his hat to the history. And there are very few writers right now who write Dr. Doom as well as he does. So I remember when he did the Marvel 2-in-1 annual, I think I mentioned last year, where he did a really great in-depth look at Dr. Doom. So that miniseries is deeply exciting, of course, because of what we're dealing with as a nation. I don't know when issue 4 is going to ship.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are much bigger problems in the world, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how that story concludes. But again, Ian, thank you. I'm really excited to see what Hickman's doing with the X-Men.
Well, thank you for bringing up the Zdarsky miniseries because at the moment, the pre-order for X-Men Fantastic Four, the complete collection, is only $7 on Comixology.
Well worth it.
And I am literally hitting purchase right now.
Yeah.
Because I believe I have at least $6 worth of credits in my Amazon account that are going right towards that. So thank you, sir.
Huh.
You bet. I look forward to discussing it with you.
Yep, definitely. Speaking of Marvel, by the way, I wanted to bring this up for all listeners. At the moment, because of what's happening in the world, there are issues that you can read for free on Marvel Unlimited without a subscription. So anyone who is not signed up, you can actually read some of the best collections out of Marvel, period, for free at the moment.
Do you have some examples, Ian, by chance?
Avengers vs. X-Men.
Okay.
Civil War. Amazing Spider-Man Red Goblin, which is the conclusion of Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man run.
Okay.
Black Panther by Ta-Nehisi Coates, Volume 1. Thanos Wins by Donny Cates. X-Men Milestones Dark Phoenix Saga.
Oh,
wow.
Avengers Kree-Skrull War.
Oh!
Avengers Jason Aaron Volume 1, The Final Post.
Yep.
Fantastic Four Volume 1, Forever, which is Dan Slott's run. Black Widow Volume 1, Shield's Most Wanted. I believe that's Mark Waid's run.
Oh, it's classic.
Captain America Winter Soldier Ultimate. That's the complete Winter Soldier saga.
Well, enough said.
Yep. and Captain Marvel Volume 1, Higher, Further, Faster, More. Are all available for free right now on Marvel Unlimited. And the kicker is, they're not just available free there. They're also available for free on Comixology. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, so it's not just a limited deal run on a Marvel Unlimited. You could just get $170 worth of comics for free right now on Comixology if you go ahead and go to your card. So
Wow.
All right, L. Levinstein, I want to salute you for being the messenger to bringing comics to the people.
I try my best, sir.
And let me ask you another question because I'm so intrigued now. Just quickly, can you explain how did Professor Xavier come back to life?
I don't have the full story, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it happened during Charles Soule's Astonishing X-Men run.
Okay, because I know he died in Avengers versus X-Men.
He did,
so-
yes, yeah. It was something involving that run. I'll have to go back. It's all on Unlimited right now,
Okay.
so I can easily read it. It's just pretty much any death doesn't really matter anymore, and that will be explained in Hox and Pox.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and yet again, it is forever known as Hox and Pox.
You're welcome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I didn't quite know what that was at first, but then I caught on quick. But I wasn't sure what that was at first.
Hawks and Pox. So Shane, you've actually been reading comics.
I did. I mentioned a little bit before we started that in the almost 4 weeks that we've been quarantined at home, I have read 68 comics now.
Shane.
Wow.
And I've been keeping track. Now that's really good for me. I mean, I read comics. It's an issue here. It's an issue there. But being able to be working from home, if I take a break or lunch or something, I quick grab a comic and read it. I come up every night, read a couple before I go to bed. Here's a list. Batman number 63 through 85 in Annual 4. Flash 64 and 65, which crossed over with Batman 64 and 65. Amethyst number 1, Strange Adventures number 1, Legion of Superheroes 4 and 5, Harley Quinn 71 because that had Booster Gold in it, which he wasn't in it that much. I was a little disappointed. Young Justice 13 and 14, Action Comics 1021, Superman 17 through 19, Heroes 1 and Villains 1, all about Superman's identity. Justice League 33 to 43, Green Lantern Grant Morrison's run 1 through 10, issues 1 through 10 of the Strangers in Paradise 25th anniversary series. Let's see. There was a couple others. Nope, I think that's it. No, that is it.
Nice.
So Xing up on my pile is Green Lantern 11.
You are very much taking advantage of being home.
Yeah, I am. I'm really trying. I'm trying to watch stuff and get caught up on some of the DC TV stuff and watching some, like Ian said earlier, some Cheers, binging. We just happened to be on the same season, almost at the same episode.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. I just love that series. It's still hilarious. I mean, all these years later, other than the noticeable absence of cell phones to me, that show could be taking place right now and you wouldn't notice anything different.
Oh yeah,
there's just something about that show that's special to me.
definitely.
Oh, I've so relished Cheers. I mean, I was growing up, I watched Cheers.
Yeah.
And I you know what, Shane, I'm interested now because I haven't really watched it since it was on TV and I was much younger, how I'd react to it now because I'm sure I'd still relish it. But
Well, and when I first got Netflix a few years ago, I did go through and watch over the course of a year the whole series again. Mm-hmm. Just, and I didn't sit down, like I've said before, I don't sit down and just watch everything. I was listening to it in the background of different things, doing around the house, whatever. So this is another time going through it. And even since that time a few years ago, there's certain things in the first 4 seasons that I completely forgot again.
Yeah.
And it's been enjoyable going, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I forgot that happened or this happened. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Coach.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just passed Coach passing away.
I unfortunately noticed how gaunt he looked in those last couple of episodes. And I had never really paid that much attention before, but knowing that the actor passed in real life, that just it made so much sense.
Was he on 3 seasons or 4?
3.
Yep.
3,
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fully 3 because the last half of 3 or the last few of 3, he wasn't on. He was quote calling in as he goes to renew his driver's license in Vermont.
Yeah.
And Sam just says, "Oh, it's Coach on the phone again." But there is one episode at the end of season 3. that Coach is on in that little beginning part before the credits roll, where they just have a joke, but he's not in the rest of the episode. So there's just that one little spot, and then the beginning of the fourth season, the second episode, you find out he passed away.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I shout out another comic I just thought of that I haven't picked up?
Please.
All right. 2 issues have come out. The new Gwen Stacy series, written by Christos Gage, art by the great Todd Nauck, a name I know we all appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
This book is outstanding. I always love when they go back into the history and they're reverent towards it. They sort of try to fill in the gaps, what's going on off panel from the original Silver Age and so forth. And they're taking you back to Gwen Stacy in high school, right before she meets Peter Parker in college, her friendship with Harry. There's interactions with Norman Osborn, who's already extremely sinister. There's a great scene with just him and Gwen, for example. The enforcers are there. Like, they explain how her father became crippled with his one leg. It's really well done. And they're really going to the source material. If you love Spidey in the Silver Age, the Gwen era, definitely read this story. You're gonna thoroughly enjoy it. But again, the creative team really is showing their regard for this period in Spider-Man's history. Just like we talked before about Spider-Man Life Story, which did the same thing sort of across the decades. This is focusing right on that sort of that magical sweet spot of Spidey's, mid to late 60s Silver Age. It's fantastic.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I finally got off my Keister and got the Shonen Jump app. As Brian Deemer talks all the time about how excellent this app is. And for literally $2 a month, you get unlimited access to Shonen Jump.
Wow.
That's a lot of material, isn't it?
Sure is.
It sure as heck is, Murd, yeah. I think you can technically take out 60 at a time, but as long as you're, just reading those 60, you can, take them out and return them without any problems. And I finally have been getting into, a couple of comics that I've been behind on. Obviously, Food Wars is one of them that I'm looking forward to reading more of. But My Hero Academia is a series that I'm kind of ashamed I haven't actually read yet, just because of how steeped it is in superhero lore and what have you. But it is just as good a manga as everybody says it is. It's a world where so many people have powers at this point that almost 80% of the population do. So it's kind of like, what if the mutant boom really boomed? And there's there's people who just have powers, and then there's those who actually go to school to hone those powers and become licensed superheroes, working for the government and getting paid for it. And our main character is trying to get into that one of those schools to become a hero. And that's where we are. I'm literally still in the first chapter, so I've got a long way to go. But I am very much looking forward to reading more of it, as it's just as fun as everyone ever told me it was, and they've got some great Easter eggs in the art of existing characters that we would know as fans of American superheroes, sort of as silhouettes in the background when they start talking about all the heroes. Like, it's very obvious that that's Wolverine. It's very hard to hide it. So it's pretty damn cool, and I've got tons of stuff ahead of me to read, so looking forward to it.
Cool.
Yep. Murd, what you been up to?
Well, I wish I could say I've been making the use of my time as well as you guys have, as far as catching up on reading and watching and so forth. Truth of the matter is, though, I have the advantage of having someplace else to go other than the apartment. I can still come to work, more or less like normal, even now. The Christmas barn is closed down. The staff is not reporting for work. But my parents and I, we still schlep in here pretty much every day as usual, and just come to the barn, come to the office just for something to do, just to keep ourselves occupied and stave off the stir craziness. So we're taking inventory and placing orders. It's just the sort of busy work we'd be doing ordinarily if this whole virus situation had not developed.
Yeah.
So I'm not spending much more time at home than I was before the lockdown was put in place. But when I am at home, I find that I'm not. I've read only a handful of comics in the past few weeks. I'm actually taking this opportunity to count my collection instead.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Taking the comic book
Wow.
census. I'm maybe halfway through, but I have successfully counted backlog. You know, the fabled Murdonian mound of comics yet to be read. I can now, I can put a number on it. I am now in possession of 12,100 comics that I have not read.
Whoa!
Oh, my God.
Oh,
my
boy.
God.
Oh my God!
It's more epic than I thought.
I still haven't opened the long boxes and counted the ones that I have read.
Oh,
which
my
is
God.
a pretty high number also, but I'm pretty sure I will come to the sobering realization that
12,000.
my unread comics safely outstrip my read comics.
Wow.
Oh my
All right,
God!
hold on.
A crime against nature.
Let's do a quick. Murder. Are these comics bagged and board or no?
For the most part, no.
Okay, so let's say there's 300 comics on average in a long box. That's 40 long boxes, Murd.
Yeah, only about 21 of which are actually in long boxes. The others are scattered all over the place.
Oh my God, man!
I think, gosh, this is going back at least 5 to 10 years ago. At the height of my comic collecting, before I was selling off chunks, I had maybe 10,000 in total, and that included unread stuff. I can't even imagine 12,000 unread backlogged books. Wow.
I would guess that I have maybe 3,000 at my mother's apartment right now, just from when I was growing up. That I need to get rid of, and almost everything else I've gotten rid of at this point. I have maybe like 2 short boxes worth of comics that I still have here. Everything else is either a trade or digital at this point, because I live in New York City and I don't have room.
Now, I was cleaning up my area and throwing out trash and things that are just useless now, boxes, whatever, shipping boxes, anything I could get out of the room. And I did sort of organize my books from things that I had read over the last couple years and just kept putting in short boxes on the floor. And I worked most of that into the collection. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 11, maybe 44 short boxes of comics in total.
Oh, that's still a fair amount, Shane.
Most are bagged and boarded. A good chunk of the last 2 or 3 years isn't. But yeah, it's still a fair amount. And I will say most of it, let's see, the first 4 boxes, the first one's mostly All-Star Squadron. Then my 1 short box of Batman comics now. Then Batgirl and some other paraphernalia. 2 boxes of Crisis on Infinite Earths and related Crisis titles. And then it starts a little bit of Green Lantern, a little bit of Flash, not much. Infinity Inc., and then Justice League starts. And Justice League takes up 4, 8, 11, 12.
Crap on a cracker, my friend, as you would always say.
12 or 13 short boxes of all Justice League, all Justice Society titles.
Wow.
And then Young Justice and Young All-Stars and Who's Who and different things are after that. But yeah, there's a good 12 or 13 short boxes of nothing but Justice League books.
Wow.
Is a lot of JLA. Pays to specialists.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it sure does.
So since we're talking about buying comics, do we want to deviate ever so slightly to the world of, and the lack of world thereof, of Diamond Distribution at the moment? As they have, essentially shut down even further than the last time that we discussed them. A whole bunch of their employees have been furloughed, as is the case with many, many, many a company out there in the world right now. So it's not just Diamond.
Sure.
But how about this new solution that comic shops have been talking about? I'm actually looking it up right now, just to find the name of it, because I keep forgetting what the hell it's called. But basically, it's a service where you're able to buy the book digitally and then essentially then pick it up in the store once it actually ships.
Huh.
let me see if I can find the name of it offhand, because this was the talk of the comics world about a week or two ago. And really, we haven't heard much about it since. Yeah, I found the article. Comic Hub, it is called. Essentially, it's a service of Comics Pro, where they say that once it is installed inside of a comic shop, you will be able to basically use that kiosk to purchase your comic, and the money will go in part to the publisher and in part to the store. And you then have immediate digital access to that comic. And then once it gets delivered to the store, you go ahead and pick it up at the store, and it's yours to behold.
And have the big two agreed to this approach?
And that's the problem. It's a very nebulous, like, people were putting it as like, oh, the day is saved, and then nobody's really talked about it in 2 weeks. It's one of those things where it sounds like a great idea, but exactly what you said, Chris, is that I do not believe the big two were even aware of this happening. And now with stores being entirely closed because of the situation where, non-essential businesses have to be closed, it doesn't really sound like it's a viable solution at all.
See, and I would think with DC's DC app and Marvel's Unlimited app, that they themselves would do something like that through their own app in some fashion.
They may not want to fully undermine the stores, though, Shane.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So it's a valid point, but I don't know. Like Shane, like Ian said, it's nebulous. So
yeah,
I'm sure they're also trying to figure out how they're going to proceed. Again, because part of the problem is, based on where you are in the country, how long is this going to go on for?
Right.
So I'm in New Jersey, so I expect to be in this situation for quite some time.
Yeah.
And same here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically a later article said that it's not going forward at this time, but they specifically said at this time. So it may still be something that's used in the future. I just honestly don't see DC or Marvel doing that, but I do see DC or Marvel perhaps using other forms of distribution to get themselves out there outside of Diamond.
Sure.
Well, one of the things I thinking about comic shops, one of the things I worry about is that, it's very possible that because this is such a transformative event that we're going through, that, what is the world of retail going to look like when this finally peters out?
Yeah.
And will certain types of businesses, comic shops, other businesses, will they even survive or be intact the way they were prior to it? Because, I mean, I know from my own experience, of course, that comic retailing is really difficult, and you're dealing with, a really tiny customer base, sort of nationwide. What is that going to look like when this is over? I mean, I certainly hope that. I think a lot of businesses in general may not survive, unfortunately, depending how long this goes on for. Not just comic shops, but a lot of other different types of quote non-essential retail business. I mean, again, there are elements of my store I miss, but if I still had business now, I'd be tearing my hair out. My hair out. I'm cursing every goddamn politician. This is it's horrible.
Well, I'm glad that, again, it seems like at least DC specifically, because they did come out with at least a couple of statements that said that they're going to be utilizing their book publishing relationships to try to, get not just trade paperbacks out there to stores, but possibly, if necessary, single issues when the time comes. And obviously, Marvel's got Disney behind them. Like they're not going to have to worry about getting comics out there one way or the other. Like it's gonna happen. It just depends on whether or not they're using the established means or brand new means to do so. It's one of those questions. And just sort of as an update to everything that we're discussing on this episode, since we recorded this episode, of course there's been new news released, because that's the way the world works, is the minute that we're done recording, something else changes. And news came out on April 17th that Diamond is attempting to reopen their comics distribution as of May. The plans are still very nebulous. However, they did release a press release that has since been reported by multiple outlets, including Comic Book Resources and Newsarama. And they say that with the health and safety of employees, retailers, and customers a top priority, we need to be very deliberate about how we restart and scale operations. We must find a delicate balance between managing health and safety concerns, meeting the pent-up demand for product, and working with retailers whose situations differ and whose need for product may have changed. While there are many steps and conversations that need to happen between today and resuming distribution of new weekly product, we are currently targeting mid to late May with the hope that, as an industry, we can all work toward that time frame. Meanwhile, as has been reported by a bunch of different websites, shortly after that news came out, on April 28th, DC Comics plans to return to stores. And this is being reported specifically by Polygon, at least the article that I'm reading right now. And DC themselves made a press release and saying that after surveying more than 2,000 stores across the U.S. and Canada, it became clear that many comic book store owners are finding new and creative ways to get books to the fans who want them. When DC announced that it would pause releases on all of its print comics on March 28th, the company also indicated that it would be looking into alternate distribution models. That statement came days after Diamond announced that it would be closing its warehouse until further notice due to corona-related shutdowns. Diamond announced today that it tentatively plans a mid to late May return to function. However, even with that happening, DC's coming back at the end of April. That means that they're going to be utilizing different streams of distribution. And two of the companies that they're going to be using are known as UCS Comic Distributors and Lunar Distribution. There's rumors going around as to, what exactly those companies are, and I'm not going to report on them yet because, frankly, nothing's been 100% confirmed, but they do definitely have standing within the comic book industry as retailers, and chances are by the time the next Comic Talk comes out, we'll be able to have further information on that. But just wanted to make sure that we update you at least a little bit on what's happening in the world of comics. We are still not planning on releasing a previews episode for the month of April, by the way. So anybody who has been anticipating that, we are going to hold on that until we 100% know that previews is back up and running. So yeah, the April catalog we will not be discussing, but hopefully by the time May happens, we'll be discussing that. But yes, Diamond plans on reopening sometime by the time mid-May happens, and DC is going to be somehow getting their books out at the end of April. Yeah, I guess the comic book industry is still holding on for now. We now return to our regularly scheduled episode already in progress.
Well, I'll speak freely now because I don't have to worry about it because I'm not a retailer anymore. But, never been a fan of Diamond.
Yeah.
For a whole host of reasons. Mm-hmm. And the fundamental one, the most, if we want to talk about sort of like the idea of a principle, is that you have a monopoly on a particular industry. Granted, it's a very small industry. But, granted, whoever the distributors were, they would have had to have closed during this. That goes without saying. But that aside, too much power, the way in terms of how they dictated it, and speaking as a retailer, made my life extremely difficult.
Well, Chris, with
you have an account for 18 years, you can't get better than, 2-week terms. That's no.
Well, with great power comes great, Yeah, it's one of those scenarios where we can yet again blame the 90s in it, just like we do as in many a time when it comes to comic books for changing the landscape. And this was very much for a negative, making the distribution of many into the distribution of one.
Well, you're referring to the Great Distribution controversy, and of course one of the worst moves in the history of Marvel Comics.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When they went to their own distribution, which was turned out to be a complete disaster.
Yep.
But yeah, you made a good point. Historically, there are actually quite a few different comic book distributors in the early days of the direct market. But
yeah. Well, we may not like Diamond, but we do like this.
oh, that kind of scary.
Well, a few of us do anyway.
Turn it down, baby.
It's time once again. It sure is time. Time for what? It's time for Muddle the Murd. That's right. It is our trivia segment here on Comic Geek Speak, and Murd has more.
I do indeed. Yes, as Ian intimated a moment ago, this is our trivia contest here on Comic Geek Speak. The way it works is you, the listeners, submit groups of 3 comic book trivia questions addressed to me, Adam the Murd Murdo, in the hopes of, coming up with questions that I will not be able to answer. Now, these triads of trivia questions must... one of them must be about Marvel Comics, one must be about DC, and the third must be about comics from some other publisher. And they must break down chronologically into one question about comics published pre-1970, one about comics published between 1970 and 2000 inclusive, and one question about comics published after the year 2000. Once these 3 questions meeting these criteria have been written and submitted, along with the answers to said questions, please, and sent along to... comicgeekspeak@gmail.com with Muddle the Murd typed in the subject line. We will find them. They will be read to me by our quizmaster, Ian. And if I fail to answer even one of your submitted questions correctly, you will have won a fantastic prize, which I will then mail to you on my own dime.
And the prize today...
The prize today, as it has been for what feels like months now, it is under lock and key at the currently disused CGS studios several miles from my current location, is an original art page donated to us by our mysterious art benefactor from James Stokoe's Godzilla, The Half-Century War #1. So it is some original Godzilla art, and it is pretty sweet looking, if I do say so myself.
Fantastic. And today's challenger is Scott Franta, and he has this to say. Hello, gang. Hope all is well in the CGS studio. Well, the CGS studios, more like it, spread across the many states that we are currently in, and in the homes of those who grace us with all things comics. Thanks so much to all of you for continuing this glorious show. I drive about 2 hours a day for school. Well, maybe not right now, which is ample time to get together with the geeks for laughs, thrills, and Murd's ultra-cosmic yoink abilities. Yoink! So without further ado, I bow my head in admiration and good luck, Murd. And we begin with independent publishers from 2000 to current.
All right.
Okay. In Top Cow's Eclipse, from September 2016 to ongoing, written by Zach Kaplan with art by Giovanni Timpano and the colorist Flavio Dispenza and Chris Northwip, letter by Troy Pateri. I love the amount of detail put into this immediately. We experience a sci-fi mystery where the sun has turned on the people of Earth. Those who are exposed to the sun's rays are incinerated near instantaneously into a graphic, bubbly mess, drawn beautifully by Timpano. Throughout the series, we follow the protagonist David Baxter. He's a solar engineer, but soon finds himself partnered with a detective to find out who done it. While searching for an unknown, sun-wielding murderer, our story gets nuttier when Bax discovered a cloaked assailant who seems to be unaffected by the sun's melting abilities. This becomes a key characteristic of some very important people throughout the series. What is the name given to those who are unaffected by the incinerating madness that is the sun?
Okay, well, before you began reading that question, Ian, I knew nothing about this series, and I feel like I've read an entire trade's worth. But that may not help me. Yeah, I really got to call upon that cosmic yoink ability of mine right now. Okay, I have a couple of interesting guesses I could throw out there, but the one I'm going to go with is penumbras.
Peanut Gallery, any other answers?
No. Wow.
The answer is albinos.
All right.
Oh.
Yep. Pretty straightforward. All right, we move on to Marvel, 1970 to 2000.
All right.
Injustice, issue number 4 from 1986 by the wonderful Steve Englehart. Art by Joe Staton and Jeff Urshwood. The titular character, with a newly regenerated right hand, confronts Damon Conquest. God, what a name. During this fight, Justice's regrown right hand fails to fire his energy blast, resulting in Conquest appearing to destroy Justice. Later, Justice is able to surprise Conquest and shoot him with a handgun. In what city does this confrontation occur?
Well, this is the new universe. So the city that immediately comes to mind is Pittsburgh. So that's going to be my guess.
Shane, Chris, any guesses?
I do not.
No, I read that series when it came out so long ago.
Yeah, me too.
Los Angeles, or as known in the comics, the comic itself, Shangri-La.
Ah.
All right, and we have one more to go.
All right. It's going to have to be DC pre-1970.
Yep.
This is the only thing that can save me now.
And you will maybe be saved, let's see, by this one. In Batman issue number 143, Bat Hound and the Creature. Cover date of September 1961. Written by Bill Finger with pencils by Sheldon Moldoff and inks by Charles Paris and letterer Stan Starkham. And it was the final 10-cent cover of Batman. Batman and Robin find themselves in yet another pickle when they come across the Lippy Yates gang. Bat Hound discovers an alien creature known as the Creature, I know, very creative, that accidentally landed on Earth and needs help. The people of Gotham are terrified of the Creature and try to kill it, but Ace the Bat Hound guards the Creature until our duo can investigate. Batman and Robin quickly realize Ace's attempts to save the critter, and our heroes begin the assistance. However, they are rudely interrupted by Lippy Yates and his rowdy gang, who begin an attack. But then, the Creature appears and saves Batman and Robin. The mob blows a bridge to attempt escape, but they are no match for Batman and the Boy Wonder. How does the Creature intervene to help Batman and Robin foil the Yates gang?
Wow. These are starting to feel like logic puzzles.
Wow.
All right. You're going to hate me here, Ian. I'm not going to ask you to repeat the whole question, but maybe repeat everything from the point where the creature is, where Bat Hound rescues the creature.
Yeah, I'll try to simplify it a little bit here. People of Gotham are terrified, but Ace the Bat Hound guards the Creature until the duo can investigate. Batman and Robin realize Ace is trying to save the Creature. And then they're interrupted by Lippy Yates and the gang. And then the Creature appears to save Batman and Robin. The mob blows the bridge to attempt escape, but they're no match for Batman and Robin. How does the Creature intervene to help Batman and Robin foil the Yates gang?
Well, before I register my guess here, let me just say that it's appropriate that we're answering this question on what would have been the 100th birthday of Shelley.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Thanks to Pants for that information. He posted it to the Comic Geek Speak supergroup just earlier today.
I saw that just a little bit ago.
Excellent. Good timing.
I wish I could honor Shelley with a correct answer here, but I doubt I can. But I'm going to say that the Creature uses its alien powers to disintegrate the bonds that are holding Batman and Robin captive, bound and captive.
Chris, Shane, any guesses?
I do not no guess.
Other than to say he teleports them there.
So, we get a very thorough answer and then a simplified one. I'm going to go with the thorough and then the simplified. Actually, you know what? I'll go simplified first. Simplified, he holds the bridge. So that's how he foils the Yates gang. He holds the bridge up. After Yates destroys a bridge in the attempted escape, the Creature walks underneath the bridge, holding it together. Batman and Robin are then able to cross the bridge on the back of the Creature. Unfortunately, the incredible weight of the broken bridge crushes the Creature to death. In memoriam, Batman and Robin set up a memorial for the alien creature. May the Creature rest in peace.
Yeah, that's
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that memorial showed up in a lot of future issues, I'm sure.
Yeah, all zero of them. All right.
That was a heroic list of questions there. Wow.
It sure as heck was. Love from your fans, Scotty Franta. Scotty, thank you for giving me a lot to read. And congratulations, sir. You have just muddled Mr. Murd.
Yes, Franta comes alive. Well done, sir.
God.
Wanna Franta? Don't you wanna?
Oh, wow.
All right, well, I'm going to need to make a trip out to the CGS studio one day in the future. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how near or distant that future day will be, but that we do now know who is the winner of that original art page. So
Yep.
Congratulations, Scott.
Most definitely. Yep.
Congratulations.
A
Congratulations indeed.
valiant effort. Well done.
And while we're extending thanks and or congratulations to folks, let me just say a quick thank you here to listener Jay Logsden of Des Moines for those Lego mini Batman figures.
Oh,
we
yes.
sent into the studio a while ago for Shane and me. Shane got a 1939 style purple gloves Batman, and I got a Batmite.
Nice.
He sits right on my desk next to my computer on my light stand.
And mine is on top of a stack of cardboard boxes just inside my front door. Yeah, Shane and I were able to... Well, assembling those figurines gave us something to do to work off the nervous energy during a would-be recording session that went very, very wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Which was, in fact, the last time that any of us set foot
yes.
at the CGS studio. So
Yeah.
thank you, Jay. You helped us to pass some time.
That's correct.
Yep. For behind the scenes, that's when we would have done Book of the Month. But hey, we
Yeah.
got it out to you guys. That's what matters.
Yep, absolutely.
And currently, that Batman sits next to a Palisades aardvark and the ant figure on my desk as well.
Nice. All right. I got two more things that I want to bring up real quick, gents, and then
All right.
whatever else you got, by all means. I watched on Netflix, and I wonder if any of you have watched it yet either, the series based on a graphic novel, I Am Not Okay With This.
No.
I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's written by Charles Sanford Forsman. The guy who worked on this series also worked on End of the Fucking World, and that's also based on a comic. That's what it is. Okay, great. So the creator that I'm thinking of is Jonathan Entwistle, who also worked on that show on Netflix that was based on a graphic novel. I'm Not Okay With This as well. It's about a character by the name of Sydney, who's played by Sophia Lewis, who was in It Chapter 1, for those of you who saw that, played the young version of the female protagonist in It, and also played a young version of Amy Adams in Sharp Objects recently. Did a really good job of that. Also, the Nancy Drew movie that I don't think anybody actually saw, but she was in that. And in this, she plays a girl in her mid-teens who's not only dealing with her friends and family, but also dealing with her questionable sexuality, all while manifesting telekinetic abilities. And they are not manifesting well, as you would think with anybody who's going through puberty at that moment. Basically, her powers are out of control, she's out of control, and she's trying to figure this all out. And it's a very short series. It's only 7 episodes long. It hasn't been renewed for a second season yet, but they do end it on a cliffhanger, so I certainly hope that they do have another season. But all the characters are very well put together. I haven't read the graphic novel it's based on, but everything I've heard is that the show is better than the graphic novel. I will have to experience that myself, as currently it's only $5.50 on Comixology, so I might make a quick purchase there. But yeah, basically it's Sophia Lewis as Sydney, Wyatt Olaf as her possible boyfriend, possible just friend, Stanley Barber, and a bunch of other characters thrown in there as well. And it's a really cool series, and they're only half-hour-long episodes, so it's very easy to get through. I am not okay with this. If you're looking for some budding
Ian, I always trust your
telekinesis.
judgment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I did that I mentioned quickly on our last episode in my honorable mentions, I watched the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Harley Quinn, the DC Universe.
I didn't do
animated.
that yet.
It's great, Shane. it's as close to a No Man's Land scenario that you will get on the show.
Okay.
After the events of the season 1 finale, basically Gotham City is in shambles, and the villains all take different parts of the city as their own. So, like, the Riddler takes a location in Gotham University. Bane has a section. Two-Face has one, and Penguin has one, and so on and so forth. And essentially, Harley Quinn and her ragtag group of villains turned sort of heroes are trying to wrestle Gotham away from these gangs.
Wow.
And it's really cool. In the second episode, we get introduced to Barbara Gordon, and by the end of the episode, she's put on her Batgirl outfit, her most recent one, which works really well considering the scenario. And I was not expecting a lot from this show, and it's become one of my favorite animated series just in a very short time. So I'm very impressed with what they've thrown out there with Harley Quinn, and I look forward to seeing where the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, I have to say, it was not something that I thought I'd enjoy as much as I did, and the first season was very well done.
Oh, yeah. Also, Christopher Maloney playing a really depressed Commissioner Gordon is one of the funniest things that you can possibly see, and it just works beautifully.
Yeah, it's such an odd way to write that character.
Yeah.
Now, that's the guy who plays Nick Sachs on Happy, right?
Yes, it is. Yep. And I just finished Happy. Actually, I just finished season 2 of Happy, and I loved every minute of it. I'm sad we're not going to get a third season, but I'm happy with the Happy that we got.
Happy, was that the Blue Rabbit? Is that the Warren Ellis miniseries?
Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison. That was a damn good miniseries.
Yep. Yeah. And the second season, they basically turned it into a different. A different holiday each season. So season 1 dealt with Christmas, and season 2 deals with Easter. And it's wacky, it's crazy, and it's obscene as hell. Really, really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
pretty obscene.
Yep.
Ian, you always give great plugs, sir.
My pleasure. All right. Anybody got anything else you want to throw out there?
Well, the only thing I want to say to Chris, and you'll appreciate this, I'm sure the others will too, but Chris especially, in amongst reading the backlog of issues I have, the comic issues, I am trying to work my way through some of my Starman reading.
Oh.
And I got 2 or 3 issues in. I just started Star's My Destination. My next issue is number 48 that I'll be coming to. So try to make some more progress in rereading that as well.
Yeah, that's a series I hope one day we can really give a lot of attention to on this show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd love to go through the whole thing.
I'm so glad I grabbed those hardcovers when they were available because they
God,
so
they are
good.
my
They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
they and some of them are very hard to find.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Especially since they never finished putting out the softcover editions.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
Those, what is it, 5 or 6 quote omnibus? I've said it before. Those are the perfect size for me. I love the way that whole trade dress is. It's fantastic.
And they smell great.
They do. God, that's. I'd be hard pressed if I had to choose one collection of things off that shelf. That's my go-to one, I think.
I don't blame you one iota there, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantastic.
Desert Island Reed right there, man.
Yeah.
All right.
We shot our bolt, gentlemen?
Oh,
Bert?
well, I don't want people to depart with the impression that I haven't been reading anything during our time in quarantine. Notice, I've been up to more than simply quantifying my own reading delinquency. I did actually pick up a book over the Easter weekend, actually. It's something that I bought 10 years ago, started to read, put aside, and never came back to, but now I've picked it up again, and I'm going to finish it. It's called Siegel and Schuster's Funny Man.
Oh.
Yes, and it is a book dedicated to one of the more obscure products of those two esteemed gentlemen's imagination. The book was compiled by 2 professors at U of Cal Berkeley, and about half of its 180-some page length is scholarly essays, mostly having to do with Jewish cultural identity, both in comedy and in superhero comics. One of the essays is about, it's like a brief history of Jewish humor stemming from the Khmelnytsky uprising of the mid-17th century all the way up through the Catskills in the mid-20th century. And then it goes from there to talk about how the Jewishness of Siegler and Schuster inspired their creation of this funny man character, who is billed as, in the title of the book, the first Jewish superhero. Now, he's a superhero whose ethnic identity was clearer to view than any other superhero that came before, even though the authors argue that Jewish ethnic identity was kind of in the DNA of all superheroes from the very beginning.
Sure.
But this one was kind of the most Jewish. His funny man was Larry Davis. He was just one consonant off from being a well-known Jewish humorist of the late 20th century. And his deal was he's a stand-up comedian who also sometimes put on a big bulbous nose and baggy polka-dotted clown pants and fought gangsters. The character was introduced in the late 40s and was something of a flop, but a significant flop in the eyes of the authors. And so they write these essays about this minor phenomenon. And also in the back half of the book, we get some reprints of actual funny man stories from comics and the short-lived black and white newspaper strip that actually existed.
That's really cool.
Yeah, Murd, that was a wonderful addition. I always love hearing about history books like that.
Yep, I've on Easter Sunday, I was only able to get through about the first 40 pages or so, but I will, now my hand to God, finish this thing. I'm not going to let it get away from me a second time.
Well, Murd, I think it's actually probably pretty awesome that you, while it was Easter, it is also Passover. So that's that was a good time to pick it up.
Yeah,
that actually did influence my thinking, Ian.
Yep. Yeah.
And that reminds me, speaking of history, I also should quickly shout out, I just read Comic Book Creator issue 22 from the Great Tomorrow's Publishing Company. And they have a wonderful career retrospective spanning interview with P. Craig Russell, one of the great artists who came in sort of the Marvel, that great wave of Marvel Bronze Age artists, and went, of course, do all kinds of stuff with Neil Gaiman and so forth. And they go through they visit him in his house. They go through his entire life, his entire career. He's an artist. I've always relished his work, thinking about like Killraven and the different. He's a big opera fan, so he's adapted a lot of operas into graphic novel form. His work with Neil Gaiman and Sandman. It's a fantastic interview. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
cool.
You actually just reminded me that I have a back issue to read at some point, because they were giving away a free issue back in March that I didn't actually get to yet. Back issue number 118 is sitting waiting to be read by me, so I look forward to opening that open sometime soon.
Yeah, it's a fantastic magazine.
Yep. All right.
All right.
I believe that is a bolt shot at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Visit us at comicgeekspeak.com to send an email. The address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. We're looking at you, Drunk Cap. Thank you very much. Stop by thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com and let us know what you think of all our various topics. And thank you for contributing to the episode with your votes and your Muddle the Murds. Like us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We'd like to thank everyone again for participating. I said that early for some reason. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes one listener at a time as I do things bass-ackwards.
You got it on Wednesday, and you was psyched about it, going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything that geeks love. From cakes to laser beams, opinions like the seasons, on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, comic geeks speak, comic geeks speak, comic geeks speak, comic geeks speak.